Hi kids! Today we're going to be reading a read-along mystery called Follow the North Star. It is about a boy who has some questions about the sky, specifically the stars. Sometimes he sees the same things in the sky, and sometimes they're moving in different places. So he has some questions, and he's going to try to figure those questions out. There might be questions that you have, there might be some that you already know the answers to. So let's go ahead and find out. Alright, hi! My name is Ryan. This weekend, my dad is taking me camping for the first time. We've slept in our backyard before, but we've never camped in the woods together. When we go camping, we'll get to hike. Dad says it's like walking, only better. We'll build a fire and sleep in a tent. While we're packing the car, Dad says, don't forget the flashlight. It's going to be dark out there. That gets me thinking, I asked Dad, what if it's so dark we can't find the flashlight? What if we get lost and can't find our tent? Dad says, don't worry, we'll be okay. The stars will help us. I wonder, how can the stars help someone who is lost at night? Maybe in the woods the stars are so bright it's like daytime. Maybe the stars tell you what direction you're going so you can find your way back to the tent. Maybe the stars form arrows that point the way. So how could stars help you find your way at night? Do you think any of his ideas are ideas you would think too? What do you think? If you have a parent near you, you can talk about it. All right, let's find out what he discovers. It's a long drive to the campsite. Along the way, there are fewer and fewer houses. There are more and more trees. When we get there, it's almost dark. We're putting up the tent when a ranger comes by. She tells us there's a special star watching program tonight. There will be telescopes to look at the stars. Dad says we can go. Dad says this is a perfect time to wear our matching shirts. See their matching shirts? Do you know what that constellation is? Let's see if you're right later on. All right, he finds them in our bag and we put them on. Our shirts show a pattern made up of 7 stars in the sky. It's called the Big Dipper because it looks like a big spoon. Can you see how it looks like a spoon? Coming out like this and down. Maybe the ranger will show us how the stars can help us when we're lost, I say. If you ask, I'm sure she will, Dad says. When we finish setting up camp, it's dark outside. We hike to where the telescopes are. Lots of other kids and parents are there. Everyone loves our shirts. We take turns looking through the telescopes. We can see so many stars. Hey Dad, I can see the Big Dipper, all 7 stars. So this is what he sees. If you imagine and connect the dots, right? You can see them. Pretend you're looking through a telescope at the stars. What do you see? So I want you to think back to a time when you maybe were looking at the sky. Maybe you saw the Big Dipper. Was there something else that you always see up there, even if it doesn't make a shape? Is there something, you see a certain number of stars and the way that they're grouped together? Good. All right. The ranger says, I'm going to show you a star that will help you if you ever get lost. It's called the North Star. It's always in the north. I know about north. On our way here, Dad showed me on the map. We drove south, away from our house, and toward the big trees. To go home, we'll drive north. Finding the North Star can tell me which way home is. I stare up at the sky. There are so many stars, I say. It's going to be hard to find one special star. There we go. The ranger smiles. If you can find the Big Dipper, she says, if you can find the Big Dipper, you can find the North Star. Sometimes my technology does not want to work. The ranger says, draw a line that connects these two stars in the Big Dipper. The line makes an arrow that points to the North Star. So I'm going to explain this. So you see the original Big Dipper right here, right? They're saying to take the end of the spoon, okay, and make a line that connects and goes straight to the star. Now what I've noticed is, since I live across the street, I see the North Star all the time. It's really cool to find it. I love being able to find it. And when you're here at school, if we didn't have any walls in our classroom, the North Star would actually be right here. It would be behind our walls. If we went outside at night, straight through our classroom here, through the windows that are out there, we would look up and see it. And the other kind of cool thing is you would think, well, aren't there going to be other stars that these make a line to? And that's actually another interesting thing. If you do find the Big Dipper and you find these two stars, when you're drawing a line, it's the first star that you actually see. You'll also notice that there are other stars in the sky, but for some reason there is kind of like a blackness around that star. It kind of circles around the star, so it really stands out against other ones. You don't really get confused because it's the only one that's right in that area. Okay? Even though the Big Dipper is in different places in the sky at different times, she says, it always points to the North Star. Okay? So that's another thing that you're going to notice too, is here it's going to be pointing to the North Star, and here this will be pointing to the North Star. And it's just based on the way we turn. I think they're going to tell us a little bit more about that. Come on, technology. There we go. All right, so here's the Big Dipper. Can you find the North Star? Okay. All right, so you can see the Big Dipper. Here are the two end stars. All right. Now, from here it looks different that you have everything, but actually you probably can kind of see the darkness if you were up close. You'd actually see that there is kind of a rim of darkness around it. But you would follow and trace those to there. And again, when you're looking at it out in our sky from North Street, very easy to find. Okay, so if you live near here or even out, you know, where it's really dark, it's easy to find. Go ahead and try it at home. Your parents can help you. If you follow the two stars on the outer edge of the Big Dipper's bowl, you can find your way to the North Star. Now I know the North Star is always in the north. I think about that. I think about how that could help us find our way back to our campsite. I asked Dad, which way is our campsite from here? He grins and says, it's north of where we are now. I know which way to go, I say. I look up at the North Star and point in that direction. That's right, Dad says. So all we have to do, Dad says, is, I know, I say, follow the North Star. The end. All right, so I'd like you to actually try that. Go outside and look at the North Star. The reason why it stays where it is because the North Star is actually right at the very top of our globe, okay, hovering above it, obviously. And as the world is turning, we're kind of getting a view of all the stars that are in the sky, right, during the nighttime. And so the Big Dipper is about right here. And so as it's moving, the North Star stays exactly because it's the top of the spin, okay? But the things around it spin. And so the way the Big Dipper looks in the sky sometimes changes. Sometimes it looks like it's here and sometimes it looks like it's there because it's spinning around that North Star. All right, and you'll always find the Big Dipper pretty close to where it is in the sky. And then other stars, you'll notice they kind of travel really far across the sky. So it'd be interesting to go and check out some videos on how the North Star works. If you're curious more, also definitely go outside and try to find it yourself. All right, good job.